One does not simply drive a Corvette in sixth gear and not see how fast it will actually go. I knew I wanted something American, something at least a V8. I didn't want a Viper because I already had one of those. Something super lightweight and something that I was familiar with. So that turned out to be, of course, lo and behold, the Corvette. And I have a friend of mine, his name is Jeff Schwartz, and Jeff Schwartz is a chassis guy. And he builds chassis for a living. But Jeff knows his stuff. He's a racer, he's a very smart guy, he knows his stuff. And he talked about his Corvette having carbon ceramic brakes. And he just said those were unbelievable to drive in. And he says, I would never go back to anything else ever again. I said, great. I want some of those now. So after the R8, I scoured the internet, and I didn't want a C7. I liked them, and I thought they were a lot of fun, but I heard about a lot of overheating issues, which Jeff talked about quite a bit. That's how I ended up passing him on at Road America one day, because even though he was significantly faster, his car went into limp mode, and I was able to pass him. And he had said that the brakes were fantastic, so I said, okay, I want a C6 with carbon ceramic brakes. Now, there's only a couple options for that, and that is either you want a carbon edition or you get a ZR1. Those are the only two options, and there is a C6 Z07 option, which is a special package. And the carbons at the time were, I think they only made it 211, I think, not very many. And they were going for astronomical numbers because they're this special edition. Doing my favorite trick of going through Craigslist and seeing poorly advertised cars, found one in Arkansas. And this was a C6 2012 Centennial, which is a special package edition, with the Z07 package with carbon ceramic brakes. And that's what I wanted. That was the big thing. The heads were done. It had a ton of work done by 21st Century muscle cars, which I was familiar with, and I know they do good work. So they'd done the heads, cam, exhaust, the whole bit. So basically, it's a ZR1 with an LS7. That's perfect. And it's not a carbon. So it wasn't commanding carbon prices. It's the same car. But I did find that the Centennial Z07 package, they only made 60 of. And I was doing my little research and found this car, and this guy had no idea what it was. He kept calling it a carbon car, and I kept saying it's not a carbon car because those have little numbers on them on the side, and they were 2011s. You don't have a 2011. We talked for a bit, and I couldn't get out to Arkansas to go get it, so he actually held it for me for 2 months until I could go out there, which was really, I thought, really nice of him. And my wife at the time had a goal to beat all 50 states. And by this time, she had 2 left. She had Arkansas and Alaska. And I looked at her and I said, well, want to hit up Arkansas? She goes, sure. So we fly out there, go pick it up, and I can immediately tell this guy does not know his ass from a tire. Because we walk out there and he says, oh, no, I got 2 new front tires for it. Now, the original Corvette comes with Sport Cup 2 tires, which are these, like, basically slicks, factory slicks. I look at it, all season tires are on the front, Pilot Sport Cup 2's in the back. And he says, oh, and by the way, sorry, forgot to mention, the traction light is on, so it's basically, it doesn't work. It's just because the car's lowered. The car's been lowered. And I knew that was bullshit, but I didn't want to call him on that. So we went to the bank to pay off his loan, and he was upside down on this car. So it made a lot of sense as to why he was willing to get rid of it so easily and so quickly. And he hands me the keys, and everything else was kind of as he said it was. And so we decided to make a road trip of it. We did a legitimate Arkansas thing. Drove through the hills and everything like that. The car had a built-in radar detector, and of course there was a fundraiser every 10 miles, so that thing was lighting up like a Christmas tree every time. One does not simply drive a Corvette in 6th gear and not see how fast it will actually go. So I won't say how fast we went, statute of limitations is not up. We did not hit its max speed, but I can tell you that it was faster than most people would be comfortable going. As we were kind of coming off of that, we crested a hill, and the built-in radar detector was giving me no sign. Instantly, we came over the top of the hill, whoop, It was bound to happen on a ride home, 800 miles from home. I was kind of asking for it. Fine. Slow down at a slow pace. Sure enough, there's a cop sitting right there waiting. He pulls out, and I'm like, all right, probably going to get pulled over. Don't worry. You know, I'm probably going to get a ticket. It's fine. No big deal. And cop pulled, he's hauling it to come up to me. And by now I've slowed down to reasonably 5 over the limit. And I'm thinking, okay, well, he's going to turn on the lights any minute now, and I'm prepared to turn the signal on and pull over. He comes up, slides left, goes forward, looks at me, boom, takes off, pulls over the guy in front of me. And we're laughing our butts off this whole time, going, I don't know how we got away with that. So my wife wanted to see my hometown of Springfield, Missouri, so we drove through there. And she had never had authentic Kansas City barbecue, so we went zigzagged all the way home from Arkansas, close to Little Rock, and we hit Kansas City to have an authentic barbecue experience. She had never had authentic Kansas City barbecue. The perfect car for American barbecue, a black C6 Corvette. It's amazing. And we roll up in style, and we sit up at the bar, and instantly, my wife has barbecue sauce up to her elbows, drinking her drink like this, because she can't grasp it with her hands. The weird thing about the car, though, is it had this weird thing on the windshield that you couldn't see through. It looked like somebody had waxed it. Somebody had, like, this rippling, and so you couldn't see through it, and it was really dangerous at night. So we stopped 10 times. We stopped at a gas station to try and squeegee it off. Didn't work. We stopped at a car wash, which refused service because the car was 4 inches off the ground. They wouldn't take it through their car wash. But they did offer to do their power spray on it. That didn't get this little film off. It was weird. We couldn't get rid of it. Got all sorts of chemicals. Nothing was going to town on this windshield. It was so wavy, and it was getting dangerous at night. I ended up getting home, taking it to a friend of mine's body shop, and he looks at it and goes, you know what that is? Somebody factory clear coated the windshield. And I started looking around at the other windows. All of the other windows have the same thing. Have this weird, like, moire effect to the windows. And I said, well, can you replace the windshield at least? Because the rear window, as long as I see a shape, I'm fine. I don't know there's a car there. I take a key to the windshield and just start scraping as hard as I can. I know he's going to replace it, so I just start scraping. Didn't make a dent in the windshield at all. No scratches, no nothing. I don't know what this thing was, but it looked like clear coat on it. And my son, who is kind of the one who gives the thumbs up, thumbs down on all my cars, and I said, all right, buddy. He's in the passenger seat. I was, all right, check this out. Get to a nice straight stretch of land. Nobody for miles. I'm not going to hurt anybody. And I just lay into it. And he's been into a lot of my other cars before, and he's pretty impressed by that sort of thing. He's an 8-year-old boy, of course. The car fishtails, and I'm like, yeah, I'm giving it the business. And he just goes, it's all right, Dad. It just kind of went like this, and What? I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I started to ruin your 8-year-old little day in Daddy's new car. So I said, fine, it's got one more trick. Those carbon ceramic brakes that I had so lusted after, right? I didn't want to get a ZR1 because I was told by a friend of mine, John Boos, who's a huge Corvette guy in Minnesota, told me, look, man, if you want to race a car, buy a Z06. You want to go look pretty, go buy a ZR1. I said, okay, well, I'm going to buy the Z06. That's when I went and bought. I said, it's got one more trick up its sleeve. And our neighborhood comes to a T at the very end, and at the other end of it is a ditch with a bunch of farmland. The stoplight's coming, and his little brain is starting to get a little panicked. He's like, Dad, and I lay on the brake. ABS comes on, and both of us get thrown forward. This is the look at, I'll do my impression of my son. What was that? I said, buddy, that's why I bought this car. He goes, that was awesome. Okay, buddy, we're cool. I had been trying to win this one race for a very long time called the Street Machine Nationals. And I had gotten second and fourth before, and this time I got second, I lost by technicality, and it really irritated me. And I said, this year is my year. I'm gonna blow the car up, or I'm gonna win. I don't care. And I ended up annihilating the competition. So much to where when they were reading off the names, they went third place, second place. Jeff Smith, the guy who was reading the names, just kind of looks out and goes, Eric, where are you? Just come get your trophy. You already know. And I walk up and that sort of thing, and I walk off, and Jeff says to the crowd, you don't need to bring an AR-15 to a knife fight.
At Dollar Shave Club, you're always in control. Simply choose the delivery dates and frequency that suits your schedule so you don't run out.
Get a shave, shower, or oral care starter set for just $5 at dollarshaveclub.com.